What's going on, Americans and rest of the world as well? Welcome to my current big thank. In this one, I'm going to make a reaction to an ordinary American reacting to a stand-up comedian from Britain who's kind of a little bit roasting Americans. So I think it's going to be this one will be good. So without much further ado, let's go ahead.
I'm just a typical, average American here today to react to some stand-up comedy by Dylan Moran about why some Americans are more irritating than others. What? You think we're irritating? Us?
Yeah, we
Since
are.
when? Americans? Irritating?
Irritating.
This is news to me. But joking
No,
aside, I
no,
thought
we
this would be
are,
actually
we
very
are,
fun
man.
to take a look at. And I know this is supposed to be comedy, but I really do think there's truth that Americans have this negative sort of reputation of being annoying. And I'd like to hear more about this. So let's take a look.
Okay.
And then, where else? This is the new world, and the other part of the new world is America. People think that's got a lot of promise. Still, even though
A lot of
we're
promise.
all a bit funny about Americans now, a bit. I think the reason that
What?
happened, all that bad feeling about America, is apart from everything that they've done.
Everything. That's funny. That's funny. I recognize this guy, Dylan Moran, from Shaun of the Dead. That movie. I saw that. He was in it. He's very good. He does. He's a comedian. He does stand-up comedy. Who knew? He's talking about the reason why Americans have sort of a negative reputation. And he's like, well, it has to do with everything that they've ever done. Which is, of course, a very logical way to put it.
It's because American stupid people sound stupider than every other kind of stupid. Some people are just thick, but you put up with them. But Americans are annoying when they're thick because they say,
I've never heard it phrased like that before. I've never heard that before. American. Oh boy, there's stupid, irritating, annoying people all over the world, but Americans in particular, we're the worst kind of annoying person.
Yeah, very
We
particular.
have a special way of doing it that's just particularly grating. Oh my.
some people are just thick, but you put up with them. But Americans are annoying when they're thick because they say, well, if they're talking about one of those terrible incidents that happen every other day in America, they say, well, I was there and the guy came in and he had like a gun, and he was like shooting and everybody else was totally dead. And you just, it's
Oh my god. Yeah, we do sound really stupid when you put it like that. Who? What American talks like that? What? Like, and then the guy came in with a gun, and everyone was totally dead. Like, what? Some like weird, deranged American from like the beach on California or something. Who is this?
sounds a little divorced from reality somehow.
This is what you guys think of us. This is good to see, honestly. And obviously, he's doing like an exaggeration for the sake of comedy. But
Oh
I'm
God.
getting a good idea of what people around the world think about Americans here. It's not just that we're dumb; we're annoying when we're dumb, or as he says, thick.
So I think that's why there's this ill feeling about the place sometimes, because of everything the administration has done. You know, it's like the really bad flatmate of the world. Oh, sorry, did I break all your shit? I didn't know it was yours.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's something an American would say, actually.
Yeah, I'll replace it sometime. With my stuff. And this is the only remaining empire. Of course, you had an empire once. Britain had a great empire. And impressively commandeered and sequestered from the rest of the world. With great style. You just marched in and said, you, and you, fuck off. We're having tiffin.
Tiffin? Tiffin? We're having tiffin. What is that? I don't catch the reference here.
Everybody sort of went, oh, right, I'm going to be off now, that's fine. And it took centuries for people to go, hang on a minute. We live here. The American style is totally different, far more insidious.
Ooh.
This empire is run on a totally different basis. What America does is it has a nosy in some place, some war-torn, fucked-up place, and that looks for oil or chocolate or whatever it wants. And they're all the indigenous.
This guy, Dylan Moran, he's got it figured out. He's got it all figured out. Oh my God. He's very funny. This is very good.
Place. And that looks for oil or chocolate or whatever it wants.
Chocolate.
And all the indigenous people obviously get pissed off. And they begin to meet. They begin to foment. They ring each other up and say, you, Habuwa, let's meet and foment at 6 o'clock. In the local bombed-out cafe, they gather round and they say, what are we... I'm doing a pan-global accent, okay? It saves time, because America gets around a lot of places. What are we... and this represents poverty. What? Hey, listen.
What?
Hi.
This exactly like this is how it goes down. Exactly like this, yeah.
Haguga, listen. What are we going to do about the fucking imperialistic Yankee big dog, huh? What are we going to do? They come in here, they look around, they take our stuff. What are we going to... I'm talking to you. Put down the beans. Listen, what are we going to do? It's kind of Al Pacino from China via Brooklyn. But the...
Yeah.
And then what America does, while these people are talking, it very, very gradually builds a Starbucks around them. And then they all become addicted to latte and they lose the will to rebel.
True. It's true. He's right. He's true. The man is right. I never even realized when you take a step back, we're literally conquering the world one Starbucks at a time.
Man, I really became addicted to decaf. That's, long time ago, I have seen one of my kids have found a kind of cartoon on TV where there are some minions, very little people, like a cartoonish little people, living in a kind of city area, and where they all the time have the large kind of cups in front of them with a straw, and they just stuck on that straw, and they in this position of laid back position on some kind of self-driving chairs are going around, so they go around on those self-driving chairs, and they keep sucking. That's a picture of me, except I have a beard now. But that's my choice, right? So yeah, let's go on, and while they are going on, I'm going to grab that coffee. You just stay here and pay attention.
And then they turn into Americans.
And Starbucks, I'm surprised he didn't say McDonald's.
After a couple of weeks, the kind of people who come up to me and say, hi, I'm Irish.
Oh, no.
My grandmother was no Flaherty. Did you know her?
Oh, no.
I always say, yes, I did.
Oh.
But then again, everybody did. Now, that's a particular kind of American, obviously, the kind of Americans you see in Europe, who often, for some reason, seem to be very generously proportioned. And the...
Oh my God. I love the way he says certain things. Now he's talking about Americans who go to Europe, which there's a lot of Americans. You know, United States is a big place. There's a lot of Americans. I'd be tempted to say the majority of Americans who never, ever travel outside the United States in our whole lives, have no interest in the rest of the world, and never get a passport, never discover that there's other cultures and countries that actually exist around the world and matter. But
Hey, they don't matter. Why would I be bothered by everybody else on this planet when there is United States, big enough to be bothered by it? I don't know. I'm kind of sticking with what's relevant to my reality. Isn't that so? I mean, that's kind of, very kind of boring opinion.
for those Americans who do break free, even then, I feel like Americans who travel and go to Europe and other places have a different sort of bad reputation of being annoying bad tourists who are there almost selfishly to entertain themselves, these Americans, and not to appreciate the culture sometimes, but think of it more as entertainment for them.
You see them in museums, blocking up the exhibits, going, what is this? Can we eat it? Where are we? Can we pee? And yet, when you go to America, you see that it's a very, very, because it's so competitive and everything, people are ultra fashionable and very thin, really. I think the Americans...
I forgot he said generously proportioned. He's saying we're fat. He's calling Americans fat.
You see in Europe are all the ones...
And I have no rebuttal to that at all.
...who stay in their apartments, get food piped in, and then they're just shipped out to Europe.
That's about fat. That definitely applies to me. I mean, damn.
But the ones over there, you see these amazing-looking people. They don't look real at all. These incredibly exiguous women. You know those people who look like they can't support the weight of their own teeth in their head?
Oh my God.
Stalking in and out of fashionable restaurants. I don't know what they're doing there. Maybe they just rub pesto on their legs or something.
Huh?
You know, they look like they weigh as much as a photograph of themselves. And very fashion conscious. But people have this idea that it's still the promised land. You know, somewhere like California.
Oh.
Everything is fruitful and abundant.
The promised land.
Welcome to the hotel. Oh, damn, I haven't been in California yet, but I've heard it's breaking down now, so it kind of makes it questionable. Whenever I feel like I think I kind of might end up in a tent on a street, kind of using fentanyl or something like that. Oh, wow, yeah, scary.
Land of opportunity. For a long time in history now, the United States, like a lot of people have wanted to travel to the United States, maybe even immigrate and live in the United States. And yeah, it's supposed to be this great land of opportunity, but certainly the consensus and thoughts around that have changed drastically just in the last couple months, you could even say. It's like people's attitude towards visiting the United States.
Everything changes. Everything's constantly in flux. It's going up, it's going down, just like market, stock market. Sometimes goes up, sometimes goes down. And you're trying to figure out the trend in order to kind of stay on top. Yeah.
It's dropped off a cliff.
But Arnold Schwarzenegger is the governor of California.
Oh, okay. I was wondering when this stand-up comedy routine was made. This is quite a few years ago. Now, I'd love to hear this same sort of thoughts now if he thought it was bad back then, this is like many years ago. I'd love to hear him do this now. Anyway, back when Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor of California, yeah.
I am kind of now involved in this rise of the machines. I'm building a website that's contributing to the rise of machines.
Yeah, he did that.
There's a perfectly ordinary English sentence. How did that happen? Do you know how that happened? Because I'll tell you. You know how we got into that position?
He's a charismatic man who makes awesome movies. Why wouldn't you vote for that?
He got there by lifting things. Now you and me,
True.
we avoid lifting things. It's unpleasant. Especially heavy things. Even a 5-year-old child knows this. They go, huh? No, fuck it, no. I'm going to put a Lego up my arse. I'm not doing that, no. He took a different approach. He lifted the heavy, and you know, you lift something when you have to. Piano falls on Granny. You lift the piano. Because Granny has mixed feelings about the whole situation. Sunday lunch continues. He didn't do any of that. He went right over to the heavy thing and lifted it and put it back down and didn't move it anywhere.
What are we talking about right now? We've really, maybe he has some kind of grand point he's building up to here. We're talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger lifting things, and he's really, really good at that. And in a roundabout way, that did inadvertently lead him to being governor of California, I guess.
And then he lifted it again, hundreds of times, and said to the people who had stopped
become governor
to observe his aberrant behavior, "Look how good I am at lifting the heavy thing."
That's what happened.
In my underpants.
That's what happened. That's what happened. That's how it went.
Sounds a little dim. But it was they who said, "You're the man. You're the one we want to deal with immigration and water rates and taxes and all that kind of shit." What we need to know is...
Is he saying Americans are thick? Americans are dumb for looking at a guy like Arnold Schwarzenegger who's good at bodybuilding and electing him into our government? Well, it's certainly, he had done movies and got politically active, and I don't need to like sit here and defend. I don't live in California. I didn't vote for him, but seems like a decent guy who's accomplished a lot of things and is pretty smart and extremely disciplined. So I think that's why, and he's cool. You got to factor the cool factor in.
I'm cool right now.
How bad was his predecessor at that job? This must have been somebody who came to work covered in children's blood every morning.
I never thought how weird that must have seemed for other countries, other people around the world, when Arnold Schwarzenegger was elected like a leader of one of our states. That I never even thought about that at the time. Americans, a lot of Americans did think it was, well, we kind of just accepted it. Yeah, he's kind of like an American folk legend, even though he's not from the United States. You know, he moved here, made a career here. Anyway, Arnold Schwarzenegger, cool guy, cool routine here, cool comedy act. That was really funny. And some of these observations were kind of, you know, exaggerated for comedy, and some of this stuff was just like facts, just accurate observations about Americans, and it's always funny to hear these types of perspectives. As an American, I think it's good, if not a little bit of a blow to our egos, which is also probably good. But anyway, Dylan Moran, really funny and really funny routine. I enjoyed this.
Okay, I enjoyed it as well, and also lifted some weights. And thank you for being present in my today's Big Tank. And catch you on the run next time.